A warm greeting. Today is Sunday, October 29, 2023. I'm meteorologist Ruben Garcia. In this video, we will provide an update on the forecast related to Invest 96, which is a low-pressure system located north of the Turks and Caicos Islands and has a moderate probability of becoming a tropical depression over the next 7 days. On the other hand, and more importantly, we will be discussing a new low-pressure system that will be developing to the south of the Dominican Republic in the coming days. It could potentially develop into a tropical cyclone as it moves westward over the warm waters of the Caribbean Sea. It's important for residents of Jamaica, Cuba, the Yucatán Peninsula, Belize, Honduras, and Nicaragua to remain vigilant about this new area of interest for cyclonic development, as it could pose a significant threat by the end of this week. In fact, in the 2 p.m. bulletin, the National Hurricane Center maintains a 60% probability of development for Invest 96, and they also have a 20% probability of development for the area south of Jamaica, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and the eastern parts of Nicaragua and Honduras. It is very likely that by 8 p.m. today, the chances of development in the Caribbean will increase to 30%. Let's start by briefly discussing Invest 96, which is associated with a weather system that has brought heavy rains to the northeastern Caribbean, especially Puerto Rico. From this weather system, a low-pressure system has developed, which has generally been moving northwest. However, note that models predict that it will continue in a northwestward direction over the next 24 hours, followed by a turn to the north-northeast, keeping it away from the eastern coast of the United States and the Bahamas. Although it currently maintains a 60% chance of cyclonic development, the reality is that conditions are not very favorable for further cyclonic organization. Most intensity models predict that it will remain a low-pressure system without developing into a tropical storm. It is likely that by 8 p.m. today, the National Hurricane Center will once again reduce the probability of cyclonic development over the next 7 days. While this disturbance does not appear to be a threat to land areas, the situation is quite different for the potential low-pressure system that could develop in the Caribbean, as it may impact a region in the Caribbean at some point later this week. It appears that a low-pressure area will be developing to the south of Puerto Rico, associated with a trough in the area. This low-pressure system is expected to move westward, encountering marginally favorable conditions for cyclonic development. There is still a great deal of uncertainty regarding its future trajectory. Some models show it passing over Cuba, while others bring it to the Bay of Honduras, and yet others suggest a path toward Nicaragua and Honduras. There is much uncertainty, but what is important is for residents of the Western Caribbean to pay attention to the evolution of this upcoming low-pressure area. Let's take a look at what the global models are projecting. Starting with the American model, the GFS, during the late hours of Monday, it develops a low-pressure system to the south of Puerto Rico. Eventually, it projects it to move in a west-southwesterly direction, developing into a tropical storm by Wednesday night, either to the north of Colombia or to the south of the Dominican Republic. It then rapidly strengthens into a powerful hurricane as it approaches the north of Nicaragua and the east of Honduras during the upcoming weekend. Obviously, this is a very aggressive forecast, and we will have many days to monitor variations in the GFS model projections. However, this is a possibility we cannot dismiss at this time. The good news is that the other models are not as aggressive with this rapid strengthening. For example, the European model projection shows that it's not until late Wednesday that it develops a low-pressure system to the south of the Dominican Republic, maintaining a general west-southwestward trajectory and becoming a tropical depression or tropical storm as it approaches Nicaragua and Honduras during the upcoming weekend. The significant difference is that the European model only predicts a tropical depression or tropical storm, as opposed to the GFS model, which predicts a major hurricane. There is a great discrepancy between the two top models, indicating a lot of uncertainty regarding the future intensity and path of this future cyclone. Other models, such as the German model, show a fairly broad low-pressure system, perhaps a tropical depression, located just east of Nicaragua by the end of this week. Additionally, the Canadian model predicts a tropical depression or tropical storm passing very close to the northern coast of Honduras and approaching parts of Belize at the beginning of the next week. In general, you can see that the models have not yet converged on a projection. While the GFS model has a powerful hurricane approaching Central America, the other models depict it as a tropical depression or tropical storm moving near or over Nicaragua, Honduras, and Belize in 5 to 7 days. What's important is for everyone to stay calm and monitor the evolution of this forecast. Residents of Cuba, the Yucatán Peninsula, Belize, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Jamaica should remain alert to the possibility of a low-pressure system with cyclonic development potential over the waters of the central and western Caribbean. There are different possible scenarios. For example, the ensemble members of the GFS model show some a weaker system that could reach Nicaragua and Honduras as a tropical depression or tropical storm, while others have a system that could strengthen more rapidly and become a hurricane, eventually taking a northward turn, passing very close to or over Cuba and Jamaica. In comparison, look at the ensemble members of the European model. The vast majority maintain it as a fairly weak tropical storm, approaching the north of Nicaragua, the north of Honduras, and eventually positioning itself just east of Belize and the Yucatán Peninsula. There is definitely a lot of uncertainty about what the future trajectory of this potential tropical cyclone that could develop in the Caribbean will be. Note that the ensemble members of the European model show up to a 70% probability of a tropical depression developing south of Jamaica and to the east of Honduras and Nicaragua. I urge you to continue monitoring hurricane info over the next few days. For updates on this forecast, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the red button below the video that says subscribe. Then, click on the bell icon to receive notifications when I upload new videos. With that, I bid farewell, and I'll see you later.